I'm going to critique the Getty House and give it an Arvin score based on my 10 principles of quality. So if you decide to build an architectural home, design an architectural home, or purchase an architectural home, you won't make the same mistakes. I'm Arvin Haddad. I'm the How to Buy a Mansion guy. Let's watch this video together.
After all of our travels, it feels good to be back in Los Angeles. And we're kicking things off with something truly iconic. Welcome to the Getty House. It's not just another luxury home. It's a vision 10 years in the making come to life in the hills above the city. With its bold architecture, voluminous interiors, and rooms that open up to some of the best views LA has to offer, it makes a statement. We're beyond excited to show you around. Let's get started.
Okay, let's talk about the frontage. This is really important. Pay attention. You do have a driveway, but it's not private. You share it with a really ugly house down the hill, but you do have a massive frontage. Now, it's very bare, but let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. It's a very minimalistic design. They're going for the modern contemporary design. You do have a massive frontage. You do have semi-private driveway. The approach so far is good, but pay attention. There is an obvious flaw in this property that is going to come up. I want to see if you guys are going to catch it or not.
And before we go in, I want to quickly get the specs out of the way. We have 6 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, 14,779 square feet of interior space, situated on a 1.93 acre lot, which is arguably one of the most important aspects of this property, on the market for $49,999,000.
Okay, it still hasn't sold. This property has been on the market for over a year now. It was listed for around 60. Recently got a $10 million price tag. They've called in Enes to hype it up, but there's a really big warning sign here. Do you know what that is? You know, this is in Brentwood. The neighborhood right next door, Pacific Palisade, has burned down, and a ton of luxury homes have been, disappeared. And there's a lot of buyers looking for properties in Brentwood and Santa Monica, prime properties. And during this 1 year that the fires have happened, this property, they're claiming to be iconic, still has not sold and has still not found its buyer. Let's find out why.
The house itself has a very distinct architecture. It is a massive rectangular frame.
It's a box. It's a shoebox.
And within the frame, we have tall sliding glass doors and this beautiful glass facade that houses the interior volumes and all the interior spaces. I also really like how all the glass is set back, protecting all the interior spaces, but also providing an opportunity for outdoor spaces to exist and these rooms to open up to those spaces. It's a very unique design.
Let's not mix unique with innovative, okay? I give it that. It's unique in the sense that you don't see that many residential properties designed like a box, but you do see a ton of commercial buildings like banks, federal buildings, and if we want to be really nice to it, museums that are designed in this very masculine, minimalistic, dominating the landscape shape and form, okay? But it's not something that has never been done before. It's very rare and unique in residential real estate.
Now, the driveway continues to the back of the property where we have the 4-car garage. And in fact, you can see the hillside from here.
Yeah, I noticed. It's really ugly. They didn't even try to hide it. Like, I think one of the elements you could have done is put really high ficuses. Not just you see the dug out mountain, but you see also the mesh and the concrete rods that they've trying to hold it so rocks won't fall down on your property, because I guess it's not that stable. So to bring it to code and make this property safe against earthquakes and such, they're securing the mountain so it would not, have debris falling on the property.
I'll talk more about that section later. And coming back to the front, we have a staircase that gives you direct access to the backyard.
Did you spot the flaw? I give you 3 seconds. It's an easy one. If you're a subscriber, you know this. 3, 2, 1. Your backyard is not level with your main entrance. Do you see this? You have to take the stairs down to go to the backyard. And this is a mind-boggling problem, okay? It is a major problem. You've had all this expenses, right? You've had all this opportunity to really create this iconic property, and you did not bother to excavate enough to level the property with your backyard. It's it's funny because I can promise you we're going to run into a lot of problems when we go inside. That whole indoor outdoor flow is not going to exist. You have all that great backyard. Like a big selling point of this property is the fact that you have views, right? And you have a backyard. But it's going to be very difficult to get to the views. You know why? Because you have to take these stairs over here down. Okay, you can see the shadow over here. You get to this level and then you have to take these stairs up. Or you have to exit the house to the motor court and take this to go to your amazing backyard.
Incredible views all the way to the Pacific Ocean. And again, the grandeur of this estate is right in front of you.
I give it that. Like, there is a level of masculinity and intimidation, okay? Now, I don't know if you want that for residential property or not, but there's a level of, like, it stands very strong, right? The house is telling you it's going to protect you. It's got your back, right? That's good. I like that masculine design in the property. Now, to me, it's a extremely minimalistic. It doesn't have any flair. It doesn't have any innovative elements, but it is masculine. And I like masculine exteriors with the feminine interior design. So let's see how they've done it on the interior.
This is a very powerful entry. We have the white steps here taking you up to the front door. And I just can't believe how massive these glass panels are. In fact, they're almost 19 feet tall without any seams, which is quite impressive. And given that they're massive, they're all motorized. So with a push of a button, you can effortlessly open them up and get this reveal experience, which is quite impressive.
That's really slow. Can you imagine? It's just coming in. You have to wait every day. Or what if something goes off and it there's a glitch, doesn't open? Like the fact that you don't have the manual option, that's a negative.
Just like that, you go into your house. The foyer of this property is really special, and the same natural stone elements that we saw on the exterior are also here. Travertine floors, travertine fabricated staircase.
Wait a minute. Is that the kitchen? If your guests are hungry, or if you're hungry, you're going to love this house. You walk in from foyer to the kitchen. Okay, let's talk about the foyer. This is, again, to me, right off the bat, okay, these are signals, right? These are alarm bells going off in my head right now, okay? They didn't know where to put the staircase, okay? All goes back to the initial design. I bet you on the design phase, the architect came down, they sat down, they started sketching the exterior of the house, okay? The owner said, I want something iconic. They're like, okay, we'll give you something iconic. They drew a box. And they're like floating box with a round, backyard. And they're like, the client looks at it and they're like, oh my God, I really, really like it. They're like, great, that's the shape. And the client is in love with it. Now that decision has been made. Now from this point on, you're trying to figure out how to make this box work. This is a classic example. I'm telling you, this is a backward design, okay? You start from the exterior shape and then you're trying to figure out everything on the interior. A horrible mistake. This is a prime example of where you don't know where you put the stairway and you decide to smack it up front to create the vertical connection from lower level to the upper level.
This frame here looks beautiful, and of course we have walls of glass that encloses the space, but you can still appreciate the views from this room. In fact, once you're up on the staircase and you look to your left, you get a head-on shot of downtown Los Angeles and Wilshire Corridor. That's got to be one of the best views of downtown LA I've seen from the entry of a home.
No, from the exit of the home. The view is behind you. You only see this view when you leave the property. You're like, holy crap, this property had a great view. But that tells you a lot, because you enter the property from the side. They never positioned the house in a right way to maximize the views. Either regulations didn't allow it, or their lot didn't allow it, or the budget didn't allow it. In either case, the house doesn't sit to maximize the lot's potential, which is its view, in the most optimal way. You could have used the private driveway to reposition you and turn you around so you would see the view. When you enter the door, you will see the downtown LA view. So this is not optimized for the view whatsoever. The view is always going to be behind you, and the house entrance is to the side. Your backyard is also your side yard. It's to the left, right? It doesn't have that depth. You enter from the side, your backyard is this way.
And also, before we leave, I want to take everybody this way. Staircase goes down to the lower level, and there's also a hallway here that takes you all the way to the other side, where we have the formal living room. That way you can map out the floor plan of this property. Now, right behind Dell, we have the elevator, and also I appreciate that the bench here is travertine fabricated to tie all the details together. Now, next up, I want to take everybody this way so we can check out the family room and the kitchen. I really like the design here, the layout. It's cozy, intimate. We have two oversized islands with natural stone countertops.
Wait a minute. I thought this property is all about grand, right? So you see the disappointment here? Do you see it? Like you had that humongous facade, you had a decent approach, you come in, and then as soon as you enter this part of the property, the ceiling heights just drop to like a regular $7 million home. And then you gotta eat. As soon as you come in, you gotta eat. Like you're just gonna open the fridge and eat. Anyone comes to your home, you gotta eat first before you can sit down. I guess you can go from the other side, but you get what I'm saying. It has layout issues.
All oak cabinetry throughout, your paneled freezer, fridge, and we have another freezer here. And continuing this way, your Gaggenau built-in appliances, your ovens, microwave.
Let's talk about the palette. It's interesting. They've kept it very minimalistic. I'm not against the palette. Using brass cabinets, it's gutsy, but I think for modern architecture, right, contemporary design, not a bad choice. It's going to take someone who's a little bit anyways to buy this house. So choice of material as far as vein cut travertine, the finishes, the wood, I think it's actually a very beautiful palette and it goes together, right? And they haven't used too many different colors here. It's very consistent.
Each one of these islands feature a sink as well as a dishwasher. And lastly, this room is all about the views. In fact, these are motorized sliding glass doors.
Yeah, it's all about the views, and you decided to put two columns to block your view. And, you know, you put mirrors on it like we're idiots. Like, we're not going to be able to see them. And this is fascinating because this is a very simple structure. You know, there's no dome. There's not like a cantilever sticking out with, you know, a huge clearance and weight management. This is a box, right? The structural engineering for this property is not going to be that complicated, okay? It's pretty simple. And you didn't have the foresight to think, you know what? My backyard is not even level with my living level, with ground level, like the entrance level. Let me at least make sure I have panoramic, unobstructed views from the kitchen. No, you have two columns very close to each other. What kind of weight distribution? Like you didn't want to give an opening?
Now, next up, on the other side, we have the family room. It plays into the open concept of this space.
This is not a family room. This is a breakfast nook. How is this a family room? Family of 3 won't even be able to sit here. I swear, I won't be fit in here with my wife and 2 kids. One of us will be on the floor.
You have your seating area here, double-sided fireplace that also faces your formal living room, TV, built-in section here with a marble table.
With office chairs. Oh my God. Okay, overall though, I'm digging the decor. I have to say the office chairs really throw it off, but the palette I like. I really do like the palette. I like the round elements of the tables, softens the sharper edges, right? There's a lot of sharp edges in this house. So you need these oval shape elements to soften it. But to call this a family room, it's disrespectful to the family. This is not right, man.
And then going this way, we have the formal living room. Without a doubt, one of the most impressive spaces in the entire property.
This is the room where this house was designed all around. Okay, I'm telling you, this was the vision. When the architects was designing this house, they thought this massive scale. And then they were like, wait a minute, we need 6 bedrooms. Okay, I guess we can keep a corner to have this volume, right? And this is the space that you should have had at the entrance, not at the end of the house. And the sad part that this part of the house doesn't get any of the good views. This part of the house is facing the weakest view of the property. So it's very, very disappointing. But the scale of that room is fantastic. The ratio, height, width ratio, I could have been a little wider. I guess it's a little bit too high again, but just a tad bit. The interior design, I agree with him. The rug really pulls the whole room together. And a great space. Again, they've really got their palette right. Their color combination from the rugs, the pop is in the furniture. Beautiful, beautiful finishes.
And look what's behind me. This massive travertine wall with vein matte travertine throughout, your fireplace, and the Bochi light fixture above. And then you see the wood paneling that's on the ceiling as well as the wall, tying all of these warm details together. And then you turn to the other side And look how tall these sliding glass doors are. How they bring the outdoors straight into the room.
Have you heard of the concept compression and release by Frank Lloyd Wright? He talks about this in his work, and he's a great master of doing the spaces, right? You compress a space and then you release it with bigger volume, or you start with a big volume, you compress it. This is a really bad example of executing this concept, okay? I don't even think they were really going after this concept. It just happened to come out. But the reason it's really wrong execution is that the front facade displays this very impressive, massive structure. And immediately right off the bat, with a very bad transition, right? You had that very narrow, long foyer that had some volume, and you immediately squeezed into a compression space, which is the kitchen, out of all the places, in a very abrupt way. And then you go through this space, and then you come out from the other side. It's a huge volume with no transition. It's a big release. Completely wrong for the architectural style of the house, for the facade of the house. If anything, you wanted to execute this with some forethought, you enter through a massive space, the formal living space, which is a humongous facade, and then through transitioning, right? Through clever transitioning with decor, finishes, elements that softens the architectural look, you introduce compressions of space, okay? It's a smaller, cozier space where it would kind of, if this space is overwhelming you, you will find a little nook that you will find comfort in. This, to me, was the whole property was designed around this room to give this massive volume at somewhere, and this is the place where they found to put it.
Now next up, I want to take everybody this way. The opening takes you to the formal dining room.
See, we just went back to a $7 million home. That was it. Ceiling height, that's what we had going on.
I also like the mid-century modern light fixture here with that little marble detail on top, built-ins with this travertine portal design. And in fact, we have two more sections here. First one has open shelving with LED lighting. We have refrigerator drawers here as well as an ice maker. And on this side, we have the second section, and now let's get a close-up. This has the sandblasted finish, so it looks like a coral. It has a lot of depth, and then you have your open shelving and the glassware here.
I love it. Beautiful. Really, really cool. I think texture is one of the most underrated elements in a home. We typically always go for these smooth finishes, and I want to give them credit where it's due. They're gutsy to experiment with this textured finish of travertine and brass. I think it works. I really do. And it's a kind of a very risky element. Two things try to match. But I feel like if it would work for any house, it would work for a house like this. That is super contemporary. You know, you're trying to be iconic, and you can actually get by having finishes that are out of the box. So I salute them for it. I think it was a risky thing to undertake, and I think they've done a good job delivering on that.
And then we have the doors here sealing off this section, and you have a really cool library. The millwork here is very meticulous, well crafted. You have a cozy fireplace on this side. All these shelves that are LED lit with a lot of books. And I really like the seating arrangement here.
Oh my God, these look so weird. This is not a library. This is like a timeout room for your kids. This is horrible. Okay, so think about a box, designing the layout for a rectangular box. What are you gonna have? You're gonna have an interior space where it's not going to get natural light. And they've tried to allocate it to a library where you would really need natural light. Okay, ideally, where you want to read a book, you would like natural light. And you have views. Why would you go in an area in the middle of the house to read a book? Horrible design, horrible design. What would have been a lot more appropriate, a family room / media room, right, in the interior of the property that connected to the kitchen area. It had a nice flow to the kitchen, that breakfast nook area that should have been like the entrance, okay? And then brings you into this space where you would be able to, without natural light bothering the reflection on the screen, have a proper family movie theater, family media experience on the ground level where you would want to use the majority of the square footage of the house, right? That would have been ideal. This library sucks. It's horrible.
Now, follow me this way. We have a hallway here, storage closet to my left. Oh, by the way, we have additional doors here if you want to close it off. And then to my right, we have the pocket door opening up to the powder room, travertine back wall, conveniently located on the back side of the property.
That's not convenient whatsoever. So wait a minute. On this whole level, you have one powder room? Are you serious? You're talking about $50 million property and you have one powder room servicing that massive hall, your family room, which was this big, your kitchen, your library. You needed at least two, at the very least two powder rooms for this space.
And continuing this way, we have a glass door that opens up to the back of the home where we have the 4-car garage, another travertine bench, and on these hallways they used the wood paneling to provide additional warmth. And the door here opens up to the spacious 4-car garage.
This is a disappointing garage. Again, for a modern property, you would think they would have spent a little bit more. Like, what if the garage, okay, looks like the interior of your house? That means they didn't spend enough money on it. They're very cool garages, okay? And you could really set up so many things. I mean, you could set up a place, seating arrangement, a place for your chauffeur to hang out, your security, deck it out, right? Especially for a modern property like this, you have the motor court, you have everything, and this looks like any 4-car garage, in a tract home development. They have the same finishes, same elements.
Now this level features few really interesting rooms, and I'm excited to cover them. In fact, we're gonna start on this side. I'm gonna call this room the guest house. Now this is not the name the developers here gave, but I feel like it's a unit of its own. Has a little seating area, this gorgeous live edge coffee table that is so extravagant, your king size bed, marble side tables, definitely good size, and it also opens up to the outdoors. But over here, it has a little kitchenette. Same cabinetry like the main kitchen, natural stone countertops, your sink, dishwasher, a cute cooktop with a vent.
Wait a minute, was that a sunken kitchen? Did they not want to grate this? But wait, hold on. Okay, I got this. I think I got this. Okay, first of all, this is not a guest house. Okay, sorry, Enes. Okay, just because you put a sunken kitchen in part of the house, you can't call it a guest house. A guest house needs to have its own separate private entry to it so that people can come in and out without bothering the residents of the property. And going through the backyard doesn't count, okay? And this is completely connected to the rest of the house. So it's not even an attached guest house. It's just part of the house. But most importantly, why the hell did they not grate this? This is a really big warning, which really points out why the hell this lower level is neither a basement nor first level. You're not level with the backyard. And the first level wasn't really a ground level, but it wasn't even first level. Both of these floors are no man's land, which really points out to the fact that they did not want to grade this lot, either excavate to create a proper basement because it was expensive, okay? And put the basement properly in basement, give it light wells, natural light as much as they can, maybe even open on some sides, right? That has actually this lower level that feels like a basement, but actually opens up to a lower elevation because it is hillside. And they didn't want to spend that money. So they end up with this design. Neither your basement is a basement and your ground level is not really a ground level. It doesn't have any access points to the backyard, which tells me they were trying to save money. And this is horrible because accessibility, using the backyard on a view property is the whole point. It's why you can charge a lot of money for it. And if you make it extremely inconvenient to use the backyard, it's a big loss. Because this floor that you can walk in, first of all, you don't get any good views from it because you're like ground level, right? And who the hell would you want to pay $50 million and be in a basement? It doesn't make sense whatsoever.
And over here, we have a full bathroom, and off of its entry we have some built-in cabinets. The door opens up to the bathroom. We have marble floors that are vein matched, and the same goes for the walls as well. Now, your water closet, we have a beautiful walk-in shower here, and I also like these little reveal details. It just gives a little dimension to the space, and your built-in tub on this side. Really nice bathroom.
It didn't have any windows to the outside. It's not a good bathroom, okay? They spent a decent amount of money on that marble, but a bathroom that doesn't have a window to the outside is not a good bathroom.
Now, leaving the guest house, we have sliding glass doors here opening up to your backyard, and the door here opens up to the second guest suite on this level with its own bathroom. Now, I want to turn around this way to continue with the lower level, small seating area underneath the staircase. On my back, we have the glass enclosed wine cellar. Nice space. Now, long hallway here that's going to take us to a few rooms.
Great. I love long hallways. Is this your basement? Are you serious? Where's the volume? This has to be, I have not seen this video, but I can promise you this is going to be a horrible basement, and I can tell you why. This goes against all my fundamental designs on basement design, okay? I know a few things about basement designs. I've helped a lot of people design basements, and I can tell you this is going to be horrible. This is going to be room to room to room to room to room.
But the first one is on this side. Now, as you all know, we've been touring homes here in Los Angeles for the last 6 years, and we've toured so many properties. And at this price point, it is well expected to have a good sized movie theater, and that's what we have here.
Wait a minute. This is really far from the third tier. I don't think the ratio of the screen size to the length is the right distance. I believe it's too long. The screen is too small for how long this room is. Pay attention.
You have your paneled walls, massive screen, projector on the other side. They brought the same wood paneling to the ceiling as well to kind of tie these details together. And the couches are extremely comfortable. In fact, roughly 3 hours before this tour, I took an amazing nap right here.
Yeah, imagine watching from the last row. That's not going to feel like a movie theater. That would be the same ratio of distance of how big your actual TV is going to feel like.
The ceiling design here is nicely curved. It's just another fun detail. All right, back to the hallway. The other thing about this space that I really like is how all these materials come together. You have oak hardwood floors that are white plank, and then you have dark wool paneling, which provides a great backdrop for you to feature your art pieces. And then we have the plaster ceiling with this track lighting design right in the center. And then to my left, we have the massage room.
This is like if Borat would have done the interior design of his bedroom, it would have looked something like this. Horrible. It literally looks like, oh my God, I can't even, who came up with this?
Now, walking this way, we have a full bathroom here. The natural stone application.
Natural light, Enes, natural light. Right? We know all stones are natural, okay? We're looking for natural light here.
Seamless, incorporated into the vanity.
Dude, first of all, it's missing a screw, okay? And then who the hell uses these anymore? Did you pick this up from Home Depot? Horrible.
And we have this bathroom here because you have easy access to the outdoors and to your pool area.
Wait a minute. This bathroom is the one that services that entire backyard? Are you serious? You better buy some porta potties if you're buying this house. There better be another bathroom that is going to serve that backyard because it's massive. If this bathroom is the only one, you're screwed.
And there's also a good size sauna here with a window. That way you can enjoy the views. Intentionality. I love that detail.
But Enes, no one can actually see out from that window because the door opens up and no one can sit there by that bench looking out. They have to sit in the back. So the whole intentionality thing didn't work out there. Oh my God. This is really bad. This is really, really bad.
Now, Del, why don't we walk backwards? Now to our right, we have the gym that we're going to tour in a second, but I want to take all of you to the office, or at least it is staged that way. Massive table here, but I want to quickly take everybody this way to talk about this chair. I'm really intrigued. And the color is funky. Dal, how do I look?
Honestly, you look like a superhero in The Incredibles.
Good one. You know that fashionista lady who is the French lady who is the designer? She would design something like that. I think he nailed it. I think he was spot on.
But I mean, like, my suit obviously contrasts heavily with this color.
No, it's not the contrast. That's a ridiculous freaking chair. It only belongs to a showroom, okay?
This room has a very good energy. I actually really like this space, and I would have designed it as an office as well. And then we have a bar area here with a fridge, your sink, kind of everything you need. Now, next up, we have the gym. Or I should have said the yoga studio.
Are you noticing this? Room to room. Do you see what kind of a basement is this? Like, when I envision a basement, I think about entering a grand space entrance. Like, that entrance to the basement is very important, right? It's like a wow factor. It's like a basement wow factor, okay? And then you have this grand space and there's nooks and places that you go in. This is a freaking hallway that they should have like put some, pins on it, and it would have worked as a bowling alley, and bunch of stupid rooms that you have to grab your friends. Okay, let's go to this room now. No, let's go to this room. Horrible design. It's a really, really weak basement.
They decided to leave this room open and really showcase its volume. It gets great natural light. We have mirror walls, plaster walls, and this plaster ceiling design. Not to mention, it frames this incredible view. And given that the backyard is a bit of a step up.
Wait, the cameraman is trying to get something. It's gonna hit the ceiling now. Look at this. It's like, oh, let me get a little bit. Nope, we're not getting any views here.
You'll have the cantilevering roof section above. It frames this really interesting view where you can see the ocean, a little bit of the city, and the sky.
You only see the sky from here. It's the sky view. Very expensive in LA.
The backyard of this property is truly spectacular. Given that we are on a hillside, they built this massive platform to house the pool, this grass area, and the house right behind me, which is quite impressive. We have travertine throughout the entire exterior, which gives this property its warmth, character, and it makes it timeless. And beyond that, they chose the sandblasted finish, so you have a lot of depth within the facade. Now here's what's so interesting about this design. Given that we have this rectangular volume, each one of the interior spaces are either square or rectangular. So it's like little Lego pieces, and you get to configure your floor plan, which makes this design extremely efficient. And every time you want to have rooms with high ceilings, you simply eliminate the second floor and push up the ceiling all the way to the very top part of the volume. And hence, we have the foyer and the formal living room. Those spaces don't have second floors above them. Again, very clever.
Oh my God, are you serious? So you're basically telling me it's a massive fixer. It's a brand new construction fixer. So if you want to fix it, you have to get rid of the middle floor and rearrange it yourself. And you got to pay $50 million for that.
Now, let's continue our tour. Next space I want to cover is the center section of this backyard. It's nice to be able to enjoy these views, have a 15,000 square foot home that is set back, this vast grass area, and even an infinity edge pool. But please keep in mind that we are on a hillside, which means the entire space that we're walking on right now is built on massive concrete caissons, steel beams, and columns. In fact, around the corner, they have a staircase that takes you below the backyard, and it is wild down there, seeing how massive these concrete caissons are. The amount of extensive steel work that they had to do.
The swimming pool is leaking. Mayday, mayday. This is not good, guys. This is not good.
The view corridor you have, and how almost most of the structures that are in front of you are very low comparing to where you stand is quite special. I feel like there is a forest in front of us.
I feel like he knows I'm going to be critiquing this property. Okay, it's some somewhat private. Okay, there are a few properties on the other side of the hill that look into it, but I wouldn't say this is like a super exposed property. And let me give this property a prop about the design of the swimming pool and the jacuzzi or whatever. It's appropriate. Okay, when you have this really strong masculine element, by doubling down and going with the rectangular swimming pool is a huge mistake. So the fact that they've gone for this kind of a kidney shaped swimming pool is very, very fitting to soften the look of this very modern rectangular shape. The whole shape of the backyard is softening the look of the structure. It's a good design. I like that.
Again, we have a jacuzzi here, small outdoor seating area, and right behind this property, we can see the Getty Museum. Now, the story of this institution is really unique. It was started by J. Paul Getty, and he was an American oil tycoon. And at one point, he was the richest man in the world, quite wild. And around 1930s, he started collecting art. And in 1950s, he started a small museum out of his home in Malibu, which then transitioned to Getty Villa in Malibu and the Getty Museum right behind me. His family trust donated over $7 billion to this institution, which is why it is the richest art institution in the world, quite wild. And they have imported 1.2 million square feet of travertine just to clad this museum. And it is quite incredible that from here you can see the museum, and they have taken inspiration when it comes to building this property and having the Getty Museum right behind them.
A wrong decision. okay, if they had hired me as a consultant, okay, I would have walked them 5 years forward and told them exactly what the hell is going to happen, okay? That number one, Brentwood buyers, people who purchase in Brentwood and Pacific Palisade don't gravitate towards modern architecture, okay? There are very, very few modern architectures in Brentwood and in Pacific Palisade, and there's good reasons for it, okay? The buyers in these two neighborhoods gravitate way more towards traditional styles, okay? So that's like right off the bat. Second, Getty is not a home, okay? Your inspiration is a commercial, is a museum, okay? That's risky because that means that your facade is going to be very gaudy, right? It's going to be very masculine, okay? And that in itself, okay, is extremely you have to be on your back foot to make sure you have extremely soft interior. Make it a home on the inside, right? You could have a very gaudy facade, masculine, but you have to be extremely cautious after making that decision to make sure the inside experience is like a very comfortable home, like a mid-century home, okay? And this house just had the worst layout. This layout of the ground level, or plus 1.5 floor and minus 1.5 floor, like the 0.5, negative 0.5 and positive 0.5 floors were horribly designed layout wise, right? No indoor outdoor floor, weird layout, entering through the kitchen. It's just really, really bad, right? So you fall into all these elements that you will have in the future, your resale value. Now, they bought this lot for $5 million back in the day. They're going to sell it for a profit for sure. And because you make your money on your buy, okay? I think real estate agents actually add the most amount of value on your buy. And if you want me to critique a property you're planning to buy, on Thursdays I go live, and you can come on live and tell me about a property you're about to buy, and I will critique it just like I'm critiquing property like this, from the Zillow pictures, the location. I will do a full analysis, and for the rest of people to watch and enjoy and learn, okay? Link is in the description. It's called Buyer Circle. Please join. It will be a lot of fun.
Other thing that I want to point out while we have this backdrop behind us is the architecture of this home. And given that we have this frame and the lower level, you don't see any of the columns because they're all set back, it makes it look like the rectangle frame is literally floating up in the air. It's quite cool, and I think it was intentionally designed that way. And the Skyframe sliding glass doors are actually quite impressive. They operate very quietly, and keep in mind that when you have glass panels that are this big and having them operate and be motorized, that's a big challenge because as they're getting pulled, these frames can adjust or bend. So you have to make them structurally very strong, but at the same time, you don't want to have any seams because that's how you can really take advantage of the views.
Okay, so basically they could break down and be very, very annoying. So do you understand, again, how dedicated this architect was to get great pictures and maybe win an award for the architectural design of the house, the form of the house, that decided to make it look seamless from outside like it's floating, and then putting the columns on inside everywhere to make sure it supports the weight. This is so important when you decide your architect, okay? Is he form or function? And you could do both right, okay? You don't have to be one. But I hate it when one architect is all about one and sacrifices everything, right? At the expense of getting a great picture and winning the, exterior form of a property. And to me, it's not even that impressive. Like, you went all through that and it's not even that impressive of a design. It's a shoebox at best.
Now, before we get up to the second floor, I want to quickly mention something. The view you get from this staircase is truly breathtaking.
Wait a minute. Is this the only stairway? Oh my God. Vertical connectivity. Vertical connectivity. So every time you want to go up and down, you have to go to the front of your house and then go up and then enter the... You know how annoying that is? Do you understand how annoying and uncomfortable would that be? Like, oh my God, like I can't even fathom. The interior setup layout of this property is horrible.
Now here we have 4 spacious bedroom suites, including the primary bedroom that we will tour last. And given that this home is situated on a hillside, it makes each one of these rooms uniquely positioned, and I'll do my best to cover all of them. Now, the door behind me, even though it looks like an interior door, actually opens up to your elevator. Here we have the first guest suite with its own seating area positioned towards the back of the property.
Great. Is this a joke? Are you serious? You see, like when you buy a view property, how many of your rooms actually open up to the view? So far, none. Zero.
Comes with a full walk-in closet and a beautiful bathroom, but we're gonna actually skip this one because the second guest suite that we're gonna be touring roughly has the same layout and design elements. In fact, let's go in. As soon as you walk in, you see the carpet floors.
No, I see the mountain. And as soon as you walk in, you see the freaking mountain. Imagine coming from like a $20 million house and the kids have a setup. They have a little bit of view, or their room opens up to the backyard, and they come to this house. They're like, Dad, what did we do wrong? Dad is like, get the hell out. Get into the library. I'm going to lock you up over there. You don't deserve it. You guys are becoming too spoiled. Look at the wall for a minute. That's how I grew up. I grew up looking at a wall, a mountain.
You have this massive sliding glass door opening up to the back of the property. And just like the front section, you also have a wraparound balcony here.
So you can enjoy the views. Oh my God, this is a joke. And they want 50 million for this. You need a massive price cut, not more than 10, okay? You need a $20 million price cut to have any hope of selling this property.
Now, this room also comes with a spacious walk-in closet that's to my right.
That was not spacious. That was a mirror in there, Enes.
And here to the left, we have the full bathroom.
That doesn't have a window to outside. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is... I mean, did you even want a window? Maybe it's a good thing it doesn't have a window when I think about it.
Now, going back to the hallway, again, we can see the same silver travertine that wraps from the staircase to this side. And here we have the primary bedroom. But before we go in there, why don't we go this way to check out the third guest suite? Now, here's what I like about the space. This room has its own dedicated seating area.
I'm sorry. This is the third one that opened up to the freaking hill. I just can't get enough.
Now, this seating area is very cozy. We have the built-ins on the other side with a TV in the center. And the furnishings here are very colorful. The couch, the chair, the coffee tables.
Okay, let's talk about upstairs living room. Good. Okay, so it does have an upstairs living room because we didn't see any in there. It's, again, connectivity to the lower floor. Like, this would have been a good place to have a stairway going down to the other side of the property. It doesn't have it. Like, from this living room to the kitchen actually the kitchen is pretty close because that's by the front door. But let's say to another part of the property, it's really, really far away.
And going this way, we walk into the bedroom section. I want to quickly point out walk-in closet to my right, and then we have the bathroom here. The first thing I want to talk about here is the Cohiba granite stonework. They have it on the floors, walls, even the vanity here, and this stone is very powerful. It looks striking, and it has variations of black tones.
Okay, it's a little overused. It's too much of a color. I think it would have been nice to have had a little bit more of the wood paneling. I think it goes. It's just a little overused. I think it's like 90-10 black stone to wood. It should be more like 70-30. I think it would have looked better.
Moving on from the bathroom, we got to talk about the bedroom itself. It is spacious like the other two bedrooms that we just toured. Comes with a dedicated seating area. Again, the plaster walls really warm up the space. We have the bed on this side, but obviously the focal point of this room is the sliding glass doors. And again, I want to give credit to this brand. Their sliding glass panels are massive, which makes your experience that much more immersive.
Okay, let's rate this view because this is an interesting view. I thought earlier it said you can see Pacific Palisade, but this is not Pacific Palisade. This is Brentwood, and this was not damaged by the fires, okay? This is a good view. This is a good hillside view. I typically like view of homes on a mountain ridge. This is a very good mountain view. I would give this view a 6.5.
And this is the experience you get from your bedroom. Now, next up, we have the primary bedroom. Double doors open up to this space. And in fact, Dal, why don't you meet me on the other side? I love the fact that they've anchored this king-size bed right in the center of the room. And the headboard design here, or this overall assembly, is exquisite. It feels like a luxurious hotel. This looks beautiful. And you have the same letter paneling on the walls, plaster ceiling, mood lighting, soft carpet. It is a minimalist room. It is not oversized.
No, it's very small. Where is the living room? Where is the seating area for your primary bedroom? And wait a minute, you didn't even give it primary bedroom a corner spot in the layout? Do you understand what just happened? Okay, by giving that stupid foyer of stairway, you killed your corner moment of downtown LA view. You could have had a downtown LA view from your primary suite by assigning the foyer there and the stairway going up. You killed it. You killed the moment. Oh my God. I throw my hands up. This architect who designed this layout, I don't think he's had too much experience designing single family homes. And this is very poor layout, extremely poor layout.
But then this is the view you get. Not only have automatic shades and automatic blackouts, you also have automatic sliding glass doors.
This view is not even that good. This is a city view. I'll give this view a 7 max. You cannot call this an ocean view whatsoever, okay? If it's that far, it's not an ocean view. If you would have planned that out on a view property, okay, you would have associated the best view, which is your downtown LA view, your Century City view. You would have made sure your primary suite at least would have a corner moment, and it doesn't. You neither took advantage of the view, and you didn't take advantage of your indoor-outdoor flow with your backyard. This is a horrible design. I'm sorry, but you really dropped the ball. The architect, whoever who had influence over these decisions, you did not have the right team. You did not have the right team to make the right decisions to best use this piece of God-given land, okay, that you bought really, really cheap. You're so lucky you're going to make money on this. You're extremely lucky because you bought it so cheap. Otherwise, you would have lost your pants. If you would have bought this piece of land 3 years ago, right, after 2018, 2019, you would have for sure lost your investment, 100%. It would have gone to foreclosure, would have for sure gone to auction. The only reason they're in it right now is because they bought it cheap. And that's the most important. If you want to learn how to buy properties for fair market value, how to analyze the property, join the buyer circle.
It's a very nice, comfortable bedroom, and it comes with 2 walk-in closets and 2 full bathrooms. The first one is located here. They use the same oak cabinetry for the built-ins, LED lighting, shoe rack is to my right, and they also carried out the same plush carpet, and then you walk seamlessly into your full bathroom. Here we have the Cohiba granite, your toilet, built-in vanity on this side.
Okay, so you have to go through your walk-in closet to get to your bathroom. Do you understand? You had a really easy box to design, it's not as having a rectangular shape home. Rectangular shape homes have been built and designed and laid out for years since homes were built. Okay, they're not that hard, but they could not figure out a way so you don't have to go through your walk-in closet to get to your bathroom.
Now to my right, we have the spacious walk-in shower, and I'm going in there and closing the door so you can see the space a little bit better. In the shower, we have a massive TV, which is quite unique. Your shower controls, steam feature, waterfall shower head, and they use the same stone on the walls, and they also crafted this built-in tub out of the granite.
That's cool, but again, I would not have used this type of black marble for my primary, even if it's his bathroom. Okay, I would not have used this. Too risky, not a safe choice whatsoever for resale value for a flip project. Come on. There were so many other pieces of stone you could have used, marble you could have used that were more elegant than this. It draws too many opinions, okay? It could turn off buyers. It's too strong.
Now, on the right wing, we have the second closet. Again, your built-ins, shoe racks, small island.
That's not even an island. That's a needle sticking out. Very small. This is a very small hair closet for a $50 million property. Again, I cannot even fathom they would build something like this for a $50 million property. That size for the men's closet was even maybe bigger than this one. And that was borderline enough for someone who would purchase a property of this caliber.
And we have additional closet space here, and then you go into your second bathroom. The color tones here are totally different than the other bathroom.
Wow. And then both of them very small bathrooms, no corner moments whatsoever. Very, very weak. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. I'm sad.
All right, now the rooftop terrace. I know throughout the tour, I talked about the views a lot, but I promise you on this level, you get some of the best views of Los Angeles given our elevation. Right behind me is your outdoor kitchen / bar.
You're looking into the hillside again.
I also like that given we have the utilities in the center, they utilized this section and also created this built-in seating out of travertine.
So you can hear the air conditioning behind your head. Great. That's really clever. Very good use of space. Good job.
We have Wilshire Corridor, Beverly Hills, all the way to downtown LA. This is an incredible outdoor space, and you can easily have 100 to 200 people here very comfortably.
It's a horrible rooftop. It's one of the worst rooftops, in fact, I've ever seen. I will tell you exactly why. First of all, look at your approach. You have to take these stairways from God knows where, and then you're immediately greeted by the barbecue area, and then you have to walk around like you're gonna be like, wait for the view, wait around the air conditioning system, and then bring them over here and be like, okay, here's the view. But then you don't have the depth, you don't have the width in the center area. It's all taken, so you just have this corridor outside. No one would ever use it. Like I'm telling you, if you purchase this, you're not gonna use the rooftop at all. You don't have a good approach entrance to it. Your backyard is way better than this. I don't see any reason you will ever hang out over here. Okay, let's give it an Arvin score. And remember, if you want to watch me critique regular homes on Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I go live. And if you want me to critique your home, join the Buyer's Lounge. Okay, location. I'm going to give this property a 6.5. I don't think this is a great location within Brentwood. It's not the most desired location whatsoever. Your proximity to freeway is too close. You can hear it. Lot quality. Look, you had 1.93 acres. I would say probably you had maybe 30,000 or 40,000, close to an acre flat, right? Even engineered. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9. Lot utilization. You had a semi-private driveway. You shared it with another property. You had a huge motor court. You had a good approach, good frontage, decent, very good motor court. And then you have a huge backyard, which is really your side yard. And then your setbacks on the other side. There's no other property on that side. And then on one side, you're against the hill, which is not good. I'm going to give it a 9 still. Privacy. You have few houses from pretty far away looking into portions of your backyard. I'm going to give it a 9. I think it's pretty private. Lot orientation. You're southwest facing, okay? A little bit too close to the freeway for the noise and everything. I don't like that. I'm going to give it an 8. Architectural style. This is going to be controversial. I'm going to give it a 6. I don't even think it was that impressive. A square box, okay, is not innovative. If you had done a very livable interior, right, that you would have really blended in with nature, you made it stand out from its surrounding, which is a horrible design for California, right? The whole indoor outdoor, we don't have bugs, right? We don't have, you want the indoor outdoor, you try to float it to get some sort of a degree from some publication when you could have incorporated it to the land and let it be a cool indoor outdoor property. And I think it was a big failure and architecturally not significant whatsoever. And don't even try to use the word iconic. Views. I like the fact that it was panoramic. I don't think any of the view from this location is that special to begin with. But the fact that it was panoramic, I'm going to give it a 7. Layout. It was the worst layout design I have ever seen on an ultra luxury price. I don't even consider this ultra luxury because they screwed up so many times. I would say I'm going to give the layout a 3. Okay. Horrible wow factor. Upon entry, you had to open the fridge and eat something. Otherwise, you were not allowed to come in. Okay. The compression and the release were so abrupt and disruptive. Your indoor outdoor flow was non-existent. You're trying to give a $60 million house a wraparound balcony. Upstairs primary bedroom, not a corner unit. So many things were wrong with it. It was embarrassing. Scale and volume, very inconsistent. I really don't know what to give it to it. Basement level, really low. Positive 0.1 level, very great in one room, but the rest was very average. And second level, or 1.5 level, was again slightly above average. Overall, I'm going to give scale and volume a 6. And the funny thing is that that's what you were going for, and you even flopped at that. Finishes, I think they did a really good job. They took some risks, very risky, but it landed. I really like that textured finish of travertine with the brass. They also did extremely well with their palettes, except that flaw of overusing that black stone in the bathrooms. I think they got a lot of things right over there. I'm going to give it a 9. Now, here's the Arvin score. If you want to see the trilogy of the $177 million villa, watch this. Much better than this. Much better than this. It's actually kind of the opposite of this, where the form is very liquid and it's all about functionality. Very interesting property. Thanks for watching. Thursday's Buy Your Lounge link is in the description. I will see you guys in the comments. Bye.